quick, just want to let anybody else who may be watching right now. Hey, Sugar, good to see you in the chat. Just waiting on my guests to give them a few minutes. If not, we will start the show. Unfortunately, without them. Of course, Sugar, you're always welcome to come in if you'd like. I'll be on the Discord if you want to join that. Hello? Has anybody joined me in this yet? Hello? I'm still by myself in this huge empty room. Anyone? Okay, I think we're gonna go on. My guest did get back to me. Said he had to go take a massive hernia-causing dump. Okay, he didn't really say that, but said he'd be here shortly. Anyway, guys, it's the Poo-Tang shit stream. Welcome, all one of you. Two now. Two. It says three, but I'm one of the three. Oh. And Chagrin's chatting at me. Sorry, chatting to me. Side chat. Or in the live chat, rather. Okay, this is what we're going to be getting to here in just a second. I'm going to try to give my guest another minute or two here. Because assuming he does have to go take a dump, well, those are sometimes hard to work out. And again, Chagrin, you're also welcome to join in if you like. Especially since one topic we'll be addressing is something you're probably familiar with, since it involves this great state of Texas and school safety. Hey, Tyro is finally joining me. Everything come out okay, bro?
Yep.
All right, great. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Before we get started with anything, if you would, please tell me a little bit about yourself and whoever else might be listening to this, and what you whether or not you have a YouTube channel and what you also talk about on that channel if you have one.
Oh, let's see a little bit more about myself. Well, I do have a YouTube channel. It's under my name, Tyro Inchoate. Been thinking about changing it since no one seemed to pronounce the last name correctly. So, but Tyro, everyone seems to know Tyro. So, my channel is still getting off the ground. Haven't done a whole lot with it yet. I've got a few videos up so far. I think my most popular one is one where I talk about the Soylent Grin, or like the soy boy smile, right. That kind of thing. So that's so far been a decently popular video. I'm working on a couple more here though. I've basically been doing a lot of live streaming lately, trying to get the hang of it, get some practice here. So like I met you through Renovations, and I'm like, hey, yeah, sure, can I jump on your live stream? So.
Okay, cool. Well, and I appreciate you offering, because I was all ready to do this by myself, and I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of I am a team player, I guess you can say. Like I can definitely do things independently, but I do enjoy company. Thank you for coming on here. All right, one poo step. Okay, hey, Chagrin, you said there was an echo in the side chat or in the live chat. Let me know if that's still going on. Okay, hey, were you able to? Oh, I need to. Were you able to go register to mycircle.tv?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, let me see how I've only done this one other time before, and
yeah, I've only used this once before.
Okay, I totally can see how I can get this. Let's. All right. Yeah, you've been sent the link on Discord. Just let me know when you're in there. Does it tell you if you come in here? I used this once a week ago, and I'm not like really sure. Very echoey. Oh, gosh, I gotta figure out what that is.
Okay, it's loading.
Okay, great. I think I know where it's coming from. All right, Sugar, let me know if that fixed it. I think I still hear it in my ear though. So what we're gonna do is we're going to watch a section of.
Okay, it looks like it's loaded on my end.
Okay, great. Let me. Okay, yeah, there's 2 users. All right. Okay, and I'm playing it smart this time. I actually took the very. Is that still echoey? Whatever. Hold on for just a second.
Did you already introduce the video?
Yeah, I was actually watching it as it was live. Oh, why the hell am I so echoey? It's so weird. We'll just deal with it. Still rough. Okay, I'm just gonna.
Am I sounding okay?
Yeah, you're fine in my ears. But I can hear myself echoing. That's the deal. And I just can't figure out why. I'm not gonna worry about it right now. There's always something new every damn stream. Every damn stream. Okay, but anyway, I learned last time I did this to pop the side chat for my circle out of there. All right. Okay, so earlier today on the John Campea show, John Campea during his live questions was asked this question that we're going to hear about and see in just a moment. And the reason why I wanted to finally address this, I've been meaning to address some of the things he says here for a while now, but there was something recent he had put on his Facebook, and let me just go ahead and play, and it'll get to the heart of it.
All right. Moof Milker writes, how do you think the current divide with Star Wars fans will affect next April's Star Wars celebration in Chicago? Look, all I can tell you, I cannot tell you what other people are going to do. All I can tell you is what I'm doing. So I'm just one person, but, you know, I'm a person who is a Star Wars fan. I'm not going. I mean, so all I can give you as an example is a one case study. That's this random Star Wars fan who lives in Burbank, California, also happens to do a little YouTube channel. His name's John Campea. Okay, so let's take the John Campea case study. The toxicity in the Star Wars fandom completely turned me off. And you know what? My brother-in-law, Stan, who's married to Anne's sister, he's also Canadian and a huge Star Wars fan. Unlike me, though, he's also 6'9" and a bodybuilder. But anyway. So Stan calls me and Ann and says, hey, Olive, that's Olive is Ann's sister. Olive and I are talking about going to Star Wars Celebration in Chicago. Let's all go. And I'm like, nope. I have my love of the Star Wars fan community is gone. It's just such a toxic, cancerous, awful place now. I've just lost my love. I haven't lost my love for Star Wars. I love Star Wars.
You're hearing this all right on your side, right? Hello, Tyro. Hello. Did I lose you, man? Still showing in the Discord. I don't know where he went to. What? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Actually, I don't hear anything. What?
Hey, yeah, I can't hear you through Discord anymore.
That is weird. So weird. Let's see.
I can hear you from when I listen to the stream, but I can't hear you.
Alright, can you hear me now?
There we go.
Damn this. Fuck you, voice mod. Voice mod did this. Okay, so can you hear can you hear the video on your side of my circle though?
My circle is not playing the video on my end either.
What?
Like I saw you started playing it in the stream, but for some reason it's not playing on the screen on mine. I mean, I already watched it, so that's the good news.
All right, well,
I don't know. Something's weird.
Yeah, this is very weird.
But
anyway, so
oh, there we go. Now it's working.
So flippin' weird. Well, you saw it, and I think it played in the stream anyway.
Yeah, for some reason it wasn't working, and now it's working. I don't know.
So awful. But anyway, so you saw it. John is basically saying he is opting out of Star Wars or the fandom because he has found the fandom to be toxic. And let me see if I can put it in a better way.
I find the Star Wars fandom to be toxic.
Shit. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what had been happening since the really the Last Jedi? And I think there was some of this going on with the Force Awakens. And before I continue, let me preface this, guys. I'm not trying to join in on the Star Wars bashing bandwagon. Again, this is something that John's been doing a lot lately, and it's unfortunate. But since about Force Awakens and going through, it's gotten even worse, I think, for him since the Last Jedi, is that John's been getting, basically, he's been getting trolled on his Twitter feed and even in his YouTube comments. And, oh gosh, the stream died again. What the fuck? I think he's also seeing some of these videos where people like really world-class bullshitters. By the way, Tyro is representing a poor man's world-class bullshitters in this stream because he really does sound like world-class bullshitters.
Yeah, apparently I sound like them. I take it as a compliment. I don't mind because, I mean, I like their videos. So it's like, hey, cool. You know, I sound like someone who sounds good. Awesome.
Yeah. And even down, this is why I'm kind of thinking you are, in fact, Jeff, and this is your, like, slumming it username here, is because even some of your vocal mannerisms and inflections sound very similar to Jeff's.
Yeah, I think he and I probably listen because my mannerisms are derived from, like, certain YouTubers that I watch a lot. So I think he and I probably listen to the same people. That's probably why.
Okay. That may very well be. But anyway, so about a week or so ago, World Class Bullshitters just did this. You can call it a hit piece if you want, but I found a lot of truth in what he was saying as far as labeling John Campea a shield for Star Wars Disney, or Disney Star Wars, however you want to put it. And stop messing with me, Chagrin. So he and then just about last week, I guess it was, he took to his Facebook and basically wrote I wouldn't say manifesto, but the way he was going on, it was a real cry on about how toxic the fandom has gotten. And it's really disappointing because I've always found John, although shill-ish, to be, for the most part, even-handed as far as how he deals with internet stuff. But now he's really taking it to heart, it seems, and I don't get it. But aside from that, and beforehand, when he started getting all the trolling, he was basically going on his live streams, basically doing the SJW shit by just labeling anybody who would say anything bad about him or to him, or about Star Wars. He was just labeling everybody a bunch of racists, misogynists, and cousin hunters.
Yeah, like if you don't like Rey, you hate all women. Because, yeah, that's a logical conclusion. Sure, if I don't like the way one specific female character is written, and I don't like the fact she has no character arc in 2 films now, yes, that makes mean I hate all women everywhere, all the time, and forever.
Exactly. And, one of the things that really bugged me about him was that somehow Rey is not a Mary Sue, and she absolutely is.
Yeah, no. Rey is definitely a Mary Sue. Not because she has to be. That's what really annoys me. Rey does not have to be a Mary Sue. The writers choose to have her as one because they can't be bothered to make her a decent character. Like, I want to like Rey. I should be rooting for Rey. And the writers just keep every opportunity they have to make her interesting or to do something that could be fascinating or compelling with her character. They're just like, nope, going to go some other way. We're going to pick the boring route with her. It's like, oh, come on.
And it's just, and I just don't understand it. You know, one excuse. Okay, so like one excuse that he tried to give to her was somebody had complained about how she was able to do a forced pull with a lightsaber on circular days when she was fighting Kylo. And John tried to excuse it with Luke Skywalker being able to do a force pull on that same lightsaber in The Empire Strikes Back. Well, we didn't see Luke, you know, get trained to do force pull on the lightsaber. But the thing of it is that it's been widely documented that there is a 3-year gap between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. We also know that Obi-Wan, at least through A New Hope and into Empire Strikes Back, even into Return of the Jedi, was communicating with Luke through his Force Ghost. Thus, it's safe to assume that he was still training Luke through the Force. So, given the 3-year gap, I think in Obi-Wan communicating with Luke, we can safely presume that Luke was getting trained by Obi-Wan and thus learned how to force pull his lightsaber. What training did Rey get prior to that movie?
None.
None that we saw, mind you, but yeah, none.
I mean, she did have, they established that she had some fighting expertise. Like, that was that whole thing, like, where Finn sees her get mugged when they're trying to get BB-8 and she knocks them all down. Like, we get, okay, she's a fighter, she's a scrapper, she's seen some bar brawls, and she knows how to handle herself. So, in that sense, she knows how to fight, maybe some martial arts. But in terms of the Force, nothing.
Let me go back through not super chats, although maybe someday. Through her live chats, only like the first 3 real Star Wars movie, 4, 5, and 6. Yes. I still don't understand why you mean how I was a bad friend by not warning you about Tyro. Nope, still okay. Poo-Io, a bathroom story. Oh, Pulo, a bathroom story. Oh, Jesus. You're getting about as bad as I am with the poo joke. He is C3PO, human bowel movement relations. Very nice. I'm starting to wonder if Papa Bear's not typing under your username, Sugar. Women are a monolith. No, they're not. Leia had a character arc. Yes, she did. Flaws and hardships make characters relatable. Yeah, and I think they were really close with Rey. I mean, through the first movie, even though, see, this is my problem with J.J. Abrams. He is not very imaginative when it comes to established IPs. He just isn't. When he's doing something that's new that nobody has seen before, I think he does very well. Yoda was the boss. Even dead, Yoda is the boss. All right, Tyro, anything to add about Rey being Mary Sue? Anything else?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Anything else to add about Rey being a Mary Sue?
Let's see. I mean, they got that. One of the parts of Last Jedi that was disappointing is they had, I think, some good ideas on her, like to try to give her character arc in terms of her saying, "Oh no, Kylo can be saved." It's like, okay, so she's going to be the one who's like, yeah, you know, Kylo has committed the big, giant, irredeemable act of Star Wars. That is, instead of saving the father, he murdered his father. Like, we hadn't seen fratricide yet before in the Star Wars. You know, Luke saved his father from the dark side, and instead Kylo killed his dad. The irredeemable act. Like, there's no going back. And Rey is like, no, I can save him. I will try to bring him back. I'm like, okay, she's going to try to redeem the irredeemable. That should be that could be interesting. And yeah. And if you haven't seen at this point, I think the internet has collectively agreed that spoiler alerts no longer apply to Star Wars films, because, like, you know, one, Force Awakens is pretty old, and two, like, the Darth Maul in Solo thing got spoiled like the day of, like on Thursday. Like the everybody was just like, yeah, Darth Maul is in Solo. Meh. You know, no one cared. Like at a certain like the reverence for spoiler talk, like Infinity War still gets spoiler warnings because people still respect that, but no one respects Solo anymore. And I think for Episode 9, the only spoiler is like, so how bad does it suck? You know, that's so. I think Star Wars spoiler warnings are officially dead now. They are as dead as Han Solo.
Well, I think the reason why people are doing the spoilers too is or the people that like are just kind of going to see things like Solo for a hate watch because they want to see how bad it is, and then they just come right out of the movie theater and say, "Oh, hey, Darth Maul's in this shit." Now, you know, when I heard about that, I was like, "Oh, well, that sounds kind of cool." And then I thought about it some more, and I'm like, "No, that's kind of cheap." I mean, in one way, it's great to bring Darth Maul back, except now I'm kind of wondering where the hell the timeline is, because I don't know if you watch the cartoon shows. I do.
Yeah, I watched Clone Wars. I've seen the first season of Rebels. I haven't seen. I know, like I think they're on season 3 now. I never got to see season 2. I'm hopefully Netflix will pick it up so I can.
Actually, Star Wars Rebels is done. They just got finished with season 4.
It's season 3 is the last season.
No, season 4.
Oh, season 4 is the last one.
Yeah, it was abbreviated, very abbreviated. It was like
okay, all right. I didn't know it was over.
Yeah, but if I think it's in season 3 where Darth Maul makes his appearance, and it's a good appearance, so I will not spoil that for you. But something happens that kind of questions the timeline of Han Solo and where does it go? At least for me, I need to read up on it. But I'm not likely to watch it either way. Now I agree. Now going back to Rey, I agree with you that they established her as a fighter. So anybody who was pissing and moaning about her being able to use a lightsaber, I'm like, okay, all right, she hasn't had any lightsaber training, but she is a pugilist. She can use that damn stick or staff of hers. So, I know they're different weapons, but Jesus Christ, I mean, do we really have to get that nitpicky about whether or not she can fight with a lightsaber just because she doesn't have actual lightsaber training? So those are the kind of things I'm willing to let go by. But the force pull thing, I was just like, really? Did you catch how they tried to actually make to pardon how good at the force she was in the second movie?
Yeah, part of the theme, Last Jedi is one of those ones. I need to make a video on it because, like, Last Jedi, to me, it was like, have you seen Artificial Intelligence, AI, the last Kubrick
I never
movie?
did see it.
Okay, so AI, like, I'll watch it, and even though Spielberg did it, you can see where Kubrick was going with it. And AI, to me, it's like, it's a movie that I watch to enjoy the ideas of it, not as opposed to the actual film. The actual film does a couple things right, but it's kind of a mess. But there's enough Kubrick there, like unpolished Kubrick, that you can see hints of his greatness to the story and to the themes that he introduces. Last Jedi, to me, is like that. Oh, but less. It's not as good as AI. Whereas Rian Johnson had some clever ideas that he was going to throw in there. And one of them was the balance between like Rey and Kylo. Which is actually in the expanded universe. The expanded universe does hint that this is one of the mechanics of the Force. So he was actually, in some ways, borrowing some concepts from pre-established, like the rejected lore, but from the established expanded universe stuff. And that was one of the ideas I liked. I wish he did it better because he implemented it in a sucky way. But yeah, the idea that Kylo, when he went to the dark side with Snoke, tipped the balance out. And so the Force gave rise to Rey, and essentially Rey could have been almost like another Anakin, essentially, where she was just a coalescence of the Force. Because I'm in the camp, I like the idea of Rey's parents being nobodies. I thought that was a bold choice, and I think that was the correct choice. I think if the rest of the movie had been better, that is a choice that could have well been justified, having her be a nobody, especially with a couple of the other things they put in there. Like you had the kid pulling the broom over, as well as the whole idea of, oh, we need a new Jedi Order, one that isn't like as regimented as the old one, because now the Force, you know, the light side of the Force now has become dispersed. It is no longer in the hands of the few and the elite. Now it's being spread out amongst the people. Now people with Force abilities will just kind of spontaneously awaken across the galaxy to counter the concentrated dark side that Kylo brought. And that's interesting. Like as a way of transition from the old Jedi to a new Jedi organization, a decentralized Jedi Order. That's an interesting concept. Especially he was also, I mean, in some ways too, Ryan was also playing with a theme of the prequels, which was, you know, how did the Jedi Order fall? Because they were so regimented, they were so stuck in the old ways that Palpatine was able to easily outmaneuver them with just by, because as Palpatine as a Sith came up with a new way, like he adapted politics. The Sith had never been political before him, so he was able to outmaneuver with the Jedi by thinking outside the box a little bit, and the Jedi couldn't, so they fell. So the idea that Ryan's playing here with that Yoda-Luke exchange is that, oh, hey, the Jedi need to also now start thinking outside the box to adapt to the Sith, to finally learn and mature and enter a new phase. Again, this is all stuff that could have been awesome if he had been halfway competent or been given more time to refine it, maybe. But it's a cool idea. So Rey, yeah, so I'm familiar with the argument. Basically, Rey is as powerful as Kylo, equal to Kylo, because the Force says, "Hey, I need a counterweight." So then that's how she's just able to pick this all up really quickly. That because her encountering Kylo essentially stimulates her own Force sensitivity, kind of like antibodies. Like she's an antibody to his infection in some ways.
He's an anti-midichlorian.
Yeah, yeah, basically, kind of like the Force is about balance. She balances him. It's the yin and yang principle from The Empire Strikes Back. Like Ryan did to an extent do his homework on there, and that's one reason why, like in terms of how it explores the Force and some of the Jedi training scenes, I like The Last Jedi. As I said, The Last Jedi had some stuff in there that I liked, but most of the stuff I liked was ideas and concepts and not actual implementation, because then you also have, of course, you have the Rose and Finn subplot, which was, oh god, why? Why?
Ridiculous and unneeded.
Yeah, I think the only good thing about the Rose Tico thing is Mark Hamill had a secondary role. Remember the little goblin that was putting the gold coins in BB-8? That was Mark Hamill. He did the voice for that one.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Because look, you know, when it came down to the whole thing of, and that was a very, very insightful explanation. I didn't particularly care for that idea that somehow just because she's a balance to Kylo, that means she can just pick everything up. Because the thing of it is that even Kylo had to be trained on a lot of the stuff that he knows. You know, this new Force power that came about with him, as far as doing a Force mind read. That, I mean, yeah, I would think that was something you might need some training to do, or you know, you might need to be trained on how to, you know, kind of zero in on this new Force power that hasn't been exhibited by anybody. And I don't have a problem with new Force powers. I really don't. Some of the cooler powers that are in the expanded universe, that always wind up on the fucking dark side instead of the light side, you know, besides Force lightning, is like Force fire. Apparently, you know, you can use the Force to become a freaking pyrokinetic.
Well, which makes sense. I mean, all you're doing is using the Force to rub molecules together. I mean, friction is fire, so I mean, it's not all that far-fetched anyway. I mean,
it really
keep in mind,
it's always a dark Force power, it seems, those kind of things.
Yeah, and I mean, and keep in mind, until Return of the Jedi in the original trilogy, we'd never seen Force lightning. Like, the first time we see Force lightning is when the Emperor busts out against Luke, and there's no foreshadowing of that whatsoever. So it's like, all of a sudden, the Emperor could just shoot lightning out of his fingertips. Okay, that came out of nowhere. So, I mean, there is precedence for, look, new power with no setup. And actually, to be fair, the whole Force projection thing, they do actually, like the whole Luke's death. I'll give Rian Johnson credit. He did foreshadow it. The first time you see Kylo and Rey talking, you actually see Kylo like reach out his hand, like he's going to use the Force on her, and then he stops and it's like, nope, too far away. If I do that, I'll die. So that's the foreshadow for, like, if you try to use the Force from too great a distance, it will kill you. It will drain your life force. And that's why Luke dies, you know, because he uses it too far away. It drains him. He passes away.
Yeah, but see,
You know,
then,
so-
but then Snoke is somehow able to act as some kind of medium to allow Rey and Kylo to do this shit. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, that was the thing. They never really, you get just from that Snoke is very powerful because he seems to be able to survive it, or I don't know, maybe acting as a medium doesn't cause as much of a strain as projecting yourself. But
Or could be just he has that much power, which I mean, because he's able to like take Han. My nickname for him is Hans. I know for like whenever I see the guy, I know his nicknames are Ron Weasley and Hans. I think of him as Hans from Frozen because that's just like, yeah, like Hans got exiled, went to space, started the First Order. That's the way I think of it. But
that could work in Disney universe canon.
Yeah, there we go. And so I mean, he flipped Hans around there on the bridge remotely. So I mean, we've established that Snoke can use the Force remotely and be like, and just brush it off. So in some ways, he may be, he could have been considerably stronger than Luke, and maybe that's why Luke just didn't rush in and kill him himself, because like, Snoke was just so much stronger than him.
So going back to the single person live chat real quick.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sorry.
Yes, no, that's fine. Has nothing to do with you. I'm just laughing that there's only one person in the live chat.
Hey, it's more intimate that way. I don't mind small screen.
Yeah. Okay, so Sugar makes an interesting comment on Rey. I'm assuming that it would be nice if she messed up a little, and I kind of like that thought because, you know, let's be honest with ourselves. In many ways, she does seem to be a little too perfect. Now, like the only flaw I saw was that she actually believed that she was going to be able to turn Kylo back to Ben. I mean, that was a mess up on her part. But outside of that, she seems to do nothing wrong. I mean, she even beats Luke in a fight. I was just like, oh, this is bullshit. You know, unless Luke just doesn't want to fight. I don't know.
No, I don't think he actually wanted to win that fight. He would have easily disarmed her if he was serious.
Yeah, and I think I think most people understand that he didn't really want to have a fight with her, but I think it would have gone a long way if he had at least shown that he could, you know, match her move for move.
I did like some of the trolling he did to her on the training. Like, I know people are like, "Oh man, old man Luke was so out of character." Like, there's actually the only reason old man Luke was out of character is because of how they set it up.
Man
with
Luke,
flashback. Yeah, but like him like touching the hand with the leaf and stuff, be like, "Do you feel the Force? Do you?" Smack. It was like, that was great. That was good. I mean, yeah. You know, that's kind of what Yoda was doing to him. Like, it was Luke's chance to play the Yoda, and it's like, oh, okay. I don't mind that. I don't mind that parallel. I just wish it'd been set up better. Again, the implementation sucked, and then, you know, it's like, cool idea, terrible implementation.
You know,
like,
it does. Did you see the director in the Jedi commentary or documentary or whatever the hell it's called?
No, I've after watching Last Jedi, I'm like, I don't really want to. I mean, I might watch it again just to try to pick out some more details from it. But the whole new Disney Star Wars thing just has failed to capture my interest to a level of me really digging too deep into it.
Because I misremembered what it was that I saw this from. Because it had nothing to do with the documentary. I think it was at South by Southwest when they had a question panel with Mark Hamill and Rian Johnson, and I don't think that was the only panel they were on where he was doing this. But, you know, Mark Hamill seems to have taken a lot of opportunities to basically throw Ryan under the bus for an audience. It's great.
Yeah. They had to rein him in at a certain point. Like they had actually, I think, because you saw Mark Hamill would like trash The Last Jedi left and right, and I think someone at Disney was like, "You're going to be in Episode 9, and we're going to pay you, so you better shut up."
But damn it, dude! Why as a director, a first-time director in the Star Wars universe, would you not take into consideration some of the ideas that pretty much I don't give a shit what people assign Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, or Oscar Isaac. As far as I'm concerned, Mark Hamill's the damn lead in this movie. And why would you not take his feedback into consideration?
Yeah.
So yes, and a lot of the dialogue seemed to be a slap in the face to fans, and probably even some of the fan theories that Rian Johnson had heard about. The comment about, what did you think I was going to do? Come in with a laser sword and just wipe out the First Order? Yeah, that's actually what the fans want you to do. So, because the thing that, I get it, the expanded universe is not headcanon. Okay, big deal. All right, but like it or not, the headcanon, or the expanded universe, or Legends, is it? Has basically put a lot of notions in the heads of the fans, because for fuck's sakes, we didn't have Star Wars for 40 years almost. Or, 40 years, 35 years. Almost 35 years.
20 years. The prequels started in like 2000, 2001.
Sorry, what are the prequels?
Oh, you're not counting those?
Counting what?
Okay. Just checking.
No, I'm sorry. Actually, I was just thinking from when The Last Jedi came out. I was just thinking as far as timeline.
I mean, Kathleen Kennedy is doing an excellent job of making the prequels look good in comparison. Good Lord.
Yeah, and I'll be about honestly, I do think that J.J. Abrams' The Force Awakens, although very derivative, was still better than pretty much the prequel.
No, Force
disagree?
Last Jedi is so bad that it makes Force Awakens looks pretty awful by comparison.
Well, The Last Jedi is so bad that it makes the prequels, with the exception of Phantom Menace, look great.
Oh, even Phantom Menace had better internal logic and consistency than The Last Jedi. Like, there are fewer plot holes in Phantom Menace than there are in The Last Jedi.
Sure. Got a point. So, real quick,
from a basic script perspective, The Phantom Menace is actually a better written film than The Last Jedi. May not be better acted. I mean, definitely not. I mean, even with Jar Jar in there. But it's a better written movie than The Last Jedi. Better executed overall.
Yeah, but I'm not even sure that the prequels were actually written. I'm not convinced.
Yeah, sure.
But even at that, though, it might still be better. But anyway, so we went so long without new Star Wars outside of the prequels that, or at least let me phrase a little bit better. Long time since we had any new movies with the original cast. That you had all that space for the Star Wars Legends as it is now to just build and build and build. I mean, Jesus Christ, Dark Empire. I don't know if you ever. I think it was a novel and a comic book that Dark Horse put out. Very first book. You have the new the New Republic in a battle with the remnants of the Empire.
Yeah,
Luke Skywalker gets dropped in. Luke Skywalker gets dropped in and pushes over an AT-AT. And that's the shit you want to see Luke do in a new movie.
Yeah, I mean, the expanded universe gave us a scene where a Jedi student in the Jedi Academy books by Kevin Anderson, like, focused and, like, took Star Destroyers, like a fleet of Star Destroyers, and shoved them to the opposite end of a solar system. I mean, killed them to do it, but that's the kind of thing we want to see. It's like, oh my god, epic Force usage.
Yeah, because, basically the Legends has Luke, is even more powerful than Anakin, even with his diluted DNA. I say diluted because, Anakin being a creation of the Force and Shmi, and then you have Luke, who was a creation of two actual human beings. So, I mean, that's why I say his DNA was diluted. But yeah, he's supposed to be more powerful than even Anakin.
Yeah. I mean, a cool scene if instead of projection he had actually been there, and then the AT-AT walkers unload, and he just takes his lightsaber and he just bounces back all the AT-AT blasts and just takes them all out. It's like boom, 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 boom. It's like that's what you get for firing on a Jedi with a lightsaber, you morons. I'm just gonna bounce your beams back and blow your stuff up. So like the only thing left standing is Kylo on his ship, and Kylo's like, right, I'm gonna have to fight him, aren't I? Yeah, okay.
But the thing of it, was is that he actually, from what I remember, wasn't actually bouncing back any of the ATSTs. Well, those weren't.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah. Like, because he was just a force projection. He couldn't. It just all went through him. He wasn't actually there. And I was like, they're like, come on! Like, it could have been such a better scene if Luke had actually been there. And I don't know.
Yeah,
because they even foreshadow it too with the X-wing.
I'm sorry.
Well, because he had the X-wing there. They even made a point of showing, oh, here's his X-wing. So yeah, he could bring that out of the water at any point and just fly off.
Yeah, and that would have been excellent. That would have, he's basically gone full circle. He has done what he didn't believe he could do in The Empire Strikes Back by bringing his X-wing out of the water. He flies in. And I wouldn't even have cared so much if there was a battle and somehow he still died.
Yeah, like maybe my guess, I thought he was going to allow Kylo to kill him. Be like, yeah, then you can say, hey, you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Yes.
It's like, and he smiles as he does it and be like, yep, you have no idea what's going on, do you, kiddo? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, there were elements of that scene that were really good. Just the fact that after his projection takes on all that armored transport vehicle firepower, he just brushes his shoulder off like he got a little dust on there. That was
pretty good.
That was great. The responding to something Kylo had said about, every word in that sentence you just said was wrong. And, that was good too. And, it just could have been so much more meaningful. And I don't know if it was just a matter of his unwillingness to. I mean, Jesus Christ, if you're going to basically copy The Empire Strikes Back, you might as well just copy all the other shit too.
Yeah, copy the good stuff.
Yeah. Copy the good stuff. All right, going back to Chagrin, I do agree. Something like Luke pinning Rey to a wall would have been kind of cool. And yes, Luke did like messing with people while he was on Endor. We all remember the floating C-3PO. Yeah, and the fact that she could beat Luke in a fight did make it seem like harnessing the Force was really easy.
Yeah.
I'm all alone.
Well, for her,
go ahead.
Yeah, for her it's easy. Yeah, a little too easy. As I said, there's no struggle because an increase in power level, when done right, because if you simply have, now I can increase my power more, it gets boring because it's like, oh, power-ups are cheap. If power-ups are cheap, then the audience is just like, oh, okay, so the fight's just going to win when you pull powers out of your butt. All right. But that's why power increases, and anime does this. Good anime will do this well. Good shonen anime will do this well. Is a power increase needs to be accompanied by personal growth. So a person overcoming a flaw unlocks more power. Then the audience is like, oh, okay, yeah, they're stronger now because they're more focused. Kill la Kill did this very brilliantly, where the bond between Ryoko, God, oh dear, Matoi, the bond between Matoi and her costume there, whose name I also forget because I'm horrible, gets stronger over the course of the show as their bond is tested, as she gets used to, being scantily clad, as she gets used to using his powers, as she comes to terms with her own identity of being integrated and stuff. And in each turn, as she learns to overcome those problems, she gets stronger as a result. So it makes sense, and it makes you feel good to see them. Gurren Lagann, same thing. Simone loses Kamina, and so he can't pilot. He's like, oh. And when he finally gets over his depression, he gets stronger. And then
just so you know,
when he's...
I absolutely have zero idea what you're talking about, since I am not a watcher of anime. But feel free to continue, finish explaining.
Sure. Okay. Well, I'll just... Basically, the point is, though, overcoming loss, overcoming hardship, overcoming a personal flaw. Back to the Future. How's that? Like Marty McFly.
Yeah, totally,
the second and third one, it's the whole like, nobody calls me chicken. And so the third movie, at the end, he doesn't give in. He's like, nah, I'm not going to drag race that idiot. And because he doesn't ruin his hand. He gets to become a famous musician as opposed to a washed up businessman. And you root for that because it's like, yeah, he overcame his flaw. And Rey, because they don't give her any flaws, she can't overcome them, and the writers can't think of any to give her. So her power-ups just feel pointless. Like when she's moving all the rocks.
She has no flaw.
Yeah, she's moving all the rocks around. It's like, okay, I mean, I guess that came from some light training, but the other part that sucks is because of the artificial time limit that Rian Johnson has with that chase scene, that she didn't get a whole lot of training with Luke. It's not like, 3 months later, even like a montage. She doesn't even get a chance to have a montage training with Luke. I mean, that's how stupid that is. That's how that chase mechanic he introduces limited the amount of growth she could even have. So it's like, because I'd be willing to believe, okay, she's a master of the Force because she's been training intensely with Luke for a few months. I'm like, okay, I'll give her that. She's already a natural, and now he's just bringing out that latent talent. And I'm willing to believe he's that awesome a teacher that she would, she'd be all kinds of hoopy after that. But she doesn't even get that. They don't even do that. It's like, come on. Oh my God. Again, implementation.
C3Poo is coming in here to read the chat some more. Yes, Luke bending laser lights around him would have been awesome. So, yeah, Chagrin, yeah, at one point you do want to see Luke be One Punch. You do want to see Luke being a Magneto, raising Veterans Stadium over his head, surrounding the White House. You do want that. You want it. I think it's safe to say that most Star Wars fans wanted that. I think most of us were also willing to settle for what we got instead. Well, I'd say maybe half. The other half said, no, we don't want this. We want a Luke Skywalker that does kick New Order ass. Crazy. These could create arrogance. Yeah, so how easy the Force comes to you could create arrogance, which could lead her going to the dark side, which is also what a lot of people were theorizing she was going to do at some point.
Yeah, and I thought that's where they were going. I thought it was going to a point of, hey, I'm not getting what I need from Luke, so I'm going to go to Kylo and try to turn him, and instead the opposite happens. She gets, like I kind of thought for a moment, I thought they were going to flip where Kylo is like, because he didn't shoot the mom, like he didn't blow up Leia, so it's like, okay, maybe he does still have a little good in him, and maybe like seeing her and being berated by Snoke, he's like, you know what? Screw this First Order crap. I'm willing to, like, I know I killed my dad. I'm gonna have to make amends for that, but I'm willing to finally like back off of this. Yeah,
but instead what Snoke's mocking did was actually make him realize that he didn't want to be ruled. He wanted to rule.
But sorry, I got interrupted for a sec.
Yeah, that was by me.
No, real life interrupted me. Anyway, let's see, where was I? Yeah, so I thought he was going to like come, and then Rey would be like, "Yeah, I just killed people. Oh my God, using the Force is awesome. I want to do more of this." And so, like, I thought they were going to do that swap. And I'm like, that would have been so cool. And it would have actually made her interesting and given her a freaking arc. And nope. They just went the way. I mean, in some ways, though, the way they did Kylo's character in Last Jedi did, into my opinion, redeemed his character from Force Awakens. In Force Awakens, he was a terrible villain. He was just a whiny, emo baby. And I was like, oh, come on. And he was just like non-intimidating or scary at all as a villain. But Last Jedi, the arc they put him on there did mature him as a villain. Like, he's a new type of Sith, and I like it because he goes from. I've made this point a few times. Is he went from dressing all in black, wearing a mask, and screaming against baby boomers, and murdering his dad, and he graduated to like full-on nihilist professor. Like, he's Antifa, basically. Kylo Ren is Antifa. He's a nihilistic Sith. He's a solipsis. He wants everything to be about himself. He wants to control all of history. He wants to be the center of everything. And that's a new type of Sith. We've seen the political Sith. We've seen power-hungry Sith. He is a complete annihilation of all things that came before him. He wants control of history itself and to obliterate it. And I think that's interesting. As a villain, that's interesting. A villain that wants to destroy history and control that. That's interesting.
Kind of sounds like Thanos in a way. But yeah, Chagrin, she's totally good because she's got the double X chromosomes. And yes, killing Leia would have been misogynistic. Is Anakin in the second prequel? You mean in the trilogy sequel? No, Anakin's not. Yeah, so far, Anakin has not made an appearance in the new trilogy. We'll see if by the third movie he does. I personally hope not. I just cannot stand the thought of sorry, just got a text. I can't stand the thought of Christian Hayden or coming into as a Force Ghost. No, I just can't do it. I still to this day can't stand that they replaced the original actor whose name I can't think of right now with Hayden Christian on Andor. That was just terrible. No.
Yeah, that was tacky and terrible.
Yeah, and there's a lot of reasons to dislike George for that. But yeah, what was the other troll joke? I'd forgotten about to bring this one up. The troll joke that John got getting back to John here, that he got really upset about was the fact that there was a black guy as a stormtrooper. And I think if I remember correctly, and I might be getting it wrong, he had commented about, oh, you guys just think stormtroopers should be white. It's like, well, considering we never saw any of the stormtroopers in any of the original trilogy, because I think by that point, the Emperor, as far as canon goes, had stopped using clones. He actually started.
Yeah, I think there is an explanation. Like, the clone farms in Camino do get blown up during the war. So yes, they do eventually run out of clones.
Hayden's got them abs, though. Jesus Christ, I swear that's Papa Bear on your username. But so anyway, but John, get back to John. Man, that was a great tangential conversation of sorts. Great conversation. Yeah, it got me thinking about some things I hadn't thought about, some things I think I could appreciate a little bit more about The Last Jedi outside of the fact that it exists.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, as I said, it's a great idea movie. It's just bad in terms of how it got slapped together. And there's still some bad ideas in it. Don't get me wrong. As I said, the Rose Tico and Holdo were both bad ideas. Like, they didn't need to exist at all.
Super bad ideas. Yeah, I mean, there was nothing to me endearing about Rose Tico, and when she crashed into Finn's ski speeder, I think that's what that damn thing is called. Just absolutely made her irredeemable to me because it was the dumbest thing ever. Because it's not about fighting the things you hate; it's about saving the things you love. You almost killed him. You could have killed him, you dumb bitch. So, okay, by Luke's time, they were recruiting. Yeah, by the time New Hope came around, they had been recruiting non-clones.
Yeah, Luke even says that he was going to join the Imperial Academy. So, like, if he hadn't met up with Obi-Wan, Luke would have been a stormtrooper.
Yeah. Or a pilot.
And actually, and with his force sensitivity, he would have been recruited to Vader's dark force user group.
Yeah. Was it? I don't think it was him. At least by, see, you've gotten far enough into Rebels where you've seen the Inquisitors.
Yeah, he was in season 1.
Yeah, I think the Inquisitors are more of. You've only seen one Inquisitor.
Yeah, I saw the one Inquisitor. They fight, and like where the kid Ezra, I think his name is, kind of goes dark side a little bit on him.
Yeah. Well, the more you'll see more in the other following seasons. But anyway, I think that was Palpatine's group, and then if you look at the legends, Darth Vader had his own pupils he was trying to train, but I don't know how much of that is now involved in canon.
Yeah.
So anyway, but the story. This is just the dumb shit, SJW shit. Like, I wouldn't ever consider John Campea any kind of SJW. Just definitely he's liberal minded. Don't really care, because movies are the things where me as a conservative and somebody as a liberal could find common ground. We can have discussions about whether or not what we like about movies, what we hate. But to take the trolling so seriously that you would become what you hate, just is a staple of what being an SJW is.
Yeah, I agree. He takes it too seriously. Now, there is such a thing as toxic fandoms. Steven Universe has a toxic fandom. I mean, the creators hate it. Certainly the CalArts art style, broadly speaking, has a toxic fandom. The people who support the CalArts style are very dismissive and very, attack. I mean, you have animators who say, hey, if you critique CalArts style, you can expect to never be hired by an animation company ever, because we will look at your social media, and if we see you're critical of the style, we will not hire you. You will be blacklisted from this industry. That's a thing that people have said. So certainly, like, again, there is such thing as a toxic fandom, but the progressives always project on that. They always say, oh, this fandom is toxic, when they're the toxic ones. I mean, the only toxicity around Star Wars are the people jumping around screaming, racist, misogynist, you're not a real fan. I mean, it's no mistake that most of the people who are like, the divisions there, the people who don't like the new ones, they're the ones being called not real Star Wars fans. It's like, so you're saying that a woman who doesn't like the new Star Wars is a fake geek girl. Wait a minute. Hold on here.
That's just crazy, man. I don't get it. So, before we move on to the next couple of things we want to do, I do want to show a tweet. First, I want to push. Actually, let's do the tweet first. So, when you sent this tweet to me here, I'd actually had seen it before from I'm guessing a Brian Johnson parody account, Chuck Wending, who had written. I'd actually seen this story before. He was the writer of Aftermath, Star Wars Aftermath, which I think follows immediately after the events of Return of the Jedi, and talks about what had happened with the remnants of the Empire and where they went, and so on and so forth. Now, I've heard a couple of opinions that the writing in this book is bad. What have you heard?
Yeah, Wending loves semicolons. He sprinkles them in with a salt shaker.
Okay. So, writer of Pants Star Wars novels, Chuck Wending has had a full Pablo Hidalgo-esque SJW meltdown. Yeah, Pablo Hidalgo is not very good at that shit either. Why does he hate Star Wars fans and white people so much? This guy creates even bigger plot holes than me. So what he's tweeting out here is images from Chuck Wending's tweets. Their names change. MRA, Incel, Gamergate, Comicsgate, Sad Puppies, real Star Wars fans. But at the heart is the same fragile rage born of the poisonous chemical combination of white supremacy and toxic masculinity. Yet, like John Campea, another Star Wars fan who can't recognize that, unlike them, you know, which is funny because John Campea is always the purveyor of saying that movies are subjective. He says that every chance he gets. I can't think of a single live stream he's done since he started his own channel, or at least started without AMC or Collider. You know, I can't think of a stream that's gone by where he hasn't said that. So, and then what you have, I believe, is you have trolls that are just trying to take the piss out of you. So he continues on. Third, I guess there was a second. Third, it's what's at the heart. It's not what I think he's saying of it all. This weaponized, aerosolized horse. Aerosolized, really. It's sexism and racism. It's sphincter-stung white dudes who are so tender. I bet you most of those white dudes haven't had their S's stung once, except for when they're taking a shit. So brittle they cannot hack that the world is only 90% about them instead of 95%. Help! I fell down a weird rabbit hole of shitty Star Wars fans. Okay. So instead of trying to find common ground where you have with Star Wars fans that you find disagree with you, without the ability to recognize that people are taking the piss out of you just for the sheer fun of it, just call them all shitty.
Yeah, no, Chuck's pretty much on. I mean, when you want to talk about fragile white people, Chuck is very high on the list of fragile white people. I mean, this is a guy like he put a gay character in his book. I was like, oh, okay, fine. I mean, gay people in Star Wars. Okay, big whoop. But he pulled it out and was like, oh, these people are criticizing me because they hate gay people. It's like, no, we hate you because you're a hack writer. So he inserted diversity specifically to use it as a shield against criticism. I mean, he's like textbook 101, just using gay people as a token just to shield himself. It's so stupid. Now, the only thing he gets right is that, yeah, the Sad Puppies, Comicsgate, the Gamergate and stuff, they are related. They're related by people having enough of the Biswo, the social justice goblins, having enough of their bullcrap. That's what they're united under, because the progressives are the gatekeepers. The progressives are the ones who use tokenism. The progressives are the ones who objectify minorities and gays and so on. You know, and they will just use them a drop in a hat. And they're almost always old white people. I mean, John Scalzi, Chuck Wendig, these guys, Ryan Johnson, these are old white people. You know, they are what they hate. It's like their hatred is like, oh, you're all white males. It's like, no, the guy's criticizing them. Like with Sad Puppies. Sad Puppies was started by a Hispanic guy and several women. And suddenly they got whitewashed, literally whitewashed, to saying, oh, no, they're all white Mormon males. Like, none of them are Mormon. I mean, I think the Hispanic guy may have actually been Mormon. But they're all suddenly Mormon white males, even though they weren't. Just because the guy they were railing against was an old white dude who'd been gatekeeping the Hugos for a decade or so. You know, if you wanted to win a Hugo, if you were a minority or woman, you had to kiss his butt. You have to go, yes, master, please give me a Hugo. I'll serve you well. You know, that's the kind of racist hick John Scalzi is. Chuck Wendig, same attitude. And if you try to break with his control of the fandom, if you try to break with his vision, oh, now you're the racist, you're the bigot. No, he is. The dude is full of shit. 100%. And his attitude is just a little more rage-mongery than Abrams, Ryan Johnson, and Kathleen Kennedy. They are all cut from the same cloth, and people have had enough.
Yeah, and his little axe makes him all the more intimidating. Whatever the hell that is he's holding. It looks like an axe. Anyway, let's see. Chagrin, I like Disney, I like Star Wars. I don't like them together a lot. Still better than Twilight, yes. Definitely better than Twilight, but that's a very low bar set. You being criticized does not equal white supremacy. Put your spine and your balls out of your partner's handbag and look at yourself, you ignorant slut. I'll add that on. And while Chagrin digging out an old hashtag, not your shield.
I remember when that hashtag was created.
Goodness, yeah. All people not wanting to take criticism and blame everyone else for their shortcomings. You know, and I don't even think it's I wouldn't even go so far as to say that what's going on with these people is that they have shortcomings as far as their ability to write. Because you know, I'm not very analytical when it comes to you know, making a critique on how somebody's writing style. You know, I just read it, and if I like it, I like it. Tyro, on the other hand, seems to be highly analytical in that regard. For me, it's just a matter of like, look, you got fans who don't like what you did. They're letting you know. You don't have to piss on them for it, even if they piss on you for it. This is one of these instances where I believe. Oh, I just realized that this parody account's name is Ruin Johnson. That's great.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool play on words.
Oh man, didn't even catch it. But anyway, so you know, take the criticism. Especially if it's constructive. If it's not constructive, just dismiss it. Don't come back and just label the whole fandom shitty. You know, I mean, granted, yeah, we could probably assume that he doesn't mean all of it. You know, we don't have to hashtag not all his tweets, but I think when you start calling any of the fandom shitty, especially when they're buying your book, that's just not a very good optic to have. All right. Any last thoughts before we move on to the part 3?
Chagrin had a good comment here in the chat saying you have to give fans what they want. Now, one area where I will disagree with that is, well, I will agree that you need to give the fans quality content. I don't think a good creator is not beholden to giving the fans exactly what they want. It's okay. Like Ryan had an idea of, oh, I want to subvert expectations. That's not entirely bad. It's good to not be stereotypical, to not always be predictable, and so on, to like try new things. And that's the problem with Force Awakens. It was boring because it's like, I've seen this so many times. Why are you repeating this? It's like, I get that Star Wars is tropey, but good Lord, think of something a little bit new here. Okay, what we want is a good internal logic, well-written story. And I think in that sense, yes, give fans what they want, but don't feel you're beholden to everybody's particular fan theory or fan canon. Like, if we never got Mara Jade in the new films, it's like, you know what, I like Mara Jade, but okay, she's not in here. I can live with that. That's okay. You know, so long as you give me something good. And they're not giving me anything good. So I'm like, well, the Timothy Zahn trilogy is still better than anything I'm getting. So that, to me, is the canonical follow-up. Yeah. And like Chagrin says, you know, you shouldn't pander at the cost of a good story. Right. That's the only caveat I would put to give the fans what they want, but don't pander. And what the fans want, though, is good quality. Like, Infinity War was not pandering. It was a great story. It hit all the points. It advanced characters. In fact, it even did some stuff the fans didn't want, like what it did with Star-Lord and Thanos there. But, however, that was good because that was Star-Lord being consistent as Star-Lord. And if he hadn't done that, it wouldn't be in character for him, even though the fans didn't want that to happen. The fans didn't want him to behave that way. A little bit of Infinity War spoilers, but it's been out for a little bit. But so in that sense, it's okay. I think the problem here is Kennedy, Abrams, Johnson, Wending, they sell the fans short. They don't have any respect for the fans. They do not respect the people giving them money. They think we're all a bunch of mouth-breathing idiots, you know, who are just going to take whatever they shovel down our throats. And when we start demanding higher quality, when we start demanding better from them and being like, hey, you are not giving us the quality, they're like, oh, well, you're just racist. Oh, you don't get it. No, I know what you need, or something like that. Like they're trying to mask their laziness, their poor craftsmanship under like, oh, you just hate diversity. It's like, no, we don't like poor craftsmanship. And so they take that personally. It's like, no, you can't do that because they think that we'll just take whatever they shovel out. I mean, and that's something the guys running the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they get that. They understand that. Like, Kevin Feige has a very excellent understanding of what makes a quality movie. And he makes sure that each movie that comes out tries to adhere to that. I mean, there's a couple failures. Iron Man 2.
It doesn't hurt that he's a fan of the comics either.
Yeah, exactly. And Jim Starlin has spoken very highly of him. working with him. Whereas the Marvel Comics division sucks. But the cinematic, yeah, he delivers it. Kennedy doesn't have that. Kennedy, in fact, as far as we know, like Kathleen Kennedy, her main strength is getting money. She's a producer. I mean, she worked with Spielberg for a reason. You know, DreamWorks was founded by Kennedy, and I forgot who the G was for, but the SKG after DreamWorks was Spielberg, Kennedy, and another person. Kennedy's main role was not the artistic side. Kennedy's main role was money. She's very good at convincing people to give her money for her projects. And so Spielberg was the art one. Here with Lucasfilm, she's trying to be the art one. And she doesn't know what makes good art. She can't tell the difference between good and bad. She has no critical sense of art, period. Okay? That's why she's approving this stuff and being like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. No, it sucks. It sucks. And she doesn't know it because she's uncultured swine, essentially. She has no taste. She needs other people around her who have taste to curate this stuff. But she's so convinced, so long as it has a message that she kind of likes, like the Force is female or whatever, like Ryan Johnson, you know, whole like feminist message with Holdo. Look, you know, Holdo, feminism, yeah. So long as you pander to that, to her, basically, like the movie is pandering to her, and it's costing a good story. And then they get butthurt because when we're like, hey, your pandering story to Kennedy sucks. And they're like, oh, well, you're just sexist. It's like, no, you have crappy taste. You know, get someone who can actually tell a good from a bad story.
Just for clarification, though, as a point of information, the SKG is for Spielberg, Katzenberg, and Geffen.
Wait, Katzenberg?
Yeah, Jeffrey Katzenberg.
Oh, that was Kennedy.
Nope.
Oh, wow. I've been wrong this whole time. Oh, man.
I thought it was Katzenberg, but when you mentioned Kennedy, I was just like, I think that's right.
Okay, I stand corrected. My bad.
All right,
I don't
that's
know.
part B. Or part C, rather. We do want to push off a shirt for Ethan Van Sciver at Comic Artist Pro Secrets. Did I get that right? Yeah, I think that's right. Anyway, yeah. This is a great shirt. I actually want one because I think a lot of us, maybe including myself and maybe including Tyro here, are part of the fandom.
Yeah, I'd wear this shirt. He had one called Soilo. I'm like, I don't want to wear a shirt called Soilo. Someone may take it seriously.
That or still report you to the authorities. Or the Tico one, I'm not too fond of. The Phantom Meta or Daddy or Go Get Daddy's Belt. That's the new one. I love that one. That's great.
Yeah, I might wear that under special circumstances, only around certain company.
Okay, this is a family channel, except for the cursing. All right, so
but Fandom Menace, yeah, I'd wear this shirt.
Okay, so since we got sidetracked with getting into Star Wars story and lore, I'm gonna do one more thing. I think I'm gonna save the Greg Abbott one for another time.
Okay, sounds good.
So we're gonna do one more thing. So Bill Clinton, Uncle Bill, has a oh shit. Closed. Anyway, Uncle Bill Clinton just came out recently. Okay, cool. You're still in here. With a video. Well, actually, he's promoting a new book, but we'll get to that here in a second as soon as this damn thing decides it wants to load. Let's see. Come on. Come on.
Clinton being asked about Me Too. Oh, good Lord.
Well, he doesn't. I can't remember if they asked about Me Too or not specifically.
So the amount of hypocrisy here is, yeah.
Oh, is it playing on your side?
Yeah.
No shit.
Conversation, watch.
Is it not supposed to be playing yet?
No, I accidentally closed the tab and I had to reopen it. It says you're still in here with me, but for whatever reason, it's playing on your side. Is it still playing or is it stopped?
No, it's stopped now.
Okay.
A few days ago, in response to critics who have suggested that you should have resigned in the wake of the Lewinsky scandal, you said that you should not have. If you were president now, in 2018, with everything that's going on with the Me Too movement, how would you have approached the accusation?
Wow, they've got the makeup caked on
I don't think it
him.
would be an issue because people would be using the facts instead of the imagined facts. If the facts were the same today, I wouldn't.
In 1998, President Clinton shocked the world, first denying, then admitting to an affair with then White House intern Monica Lewinsky. The scandal launching a link.
Well, I mean, the real scandal was never, oh, he had an affair. The scandal was he lied to Congress about it. Plus, also, and the real sex scandal with Bill is he's a rapist. Like, we've got like 4 women who are like, yeah, no, he forced himself on me. I mean, Trump, as far as we know, hasn't really raped anybody. I mean, he had consensual sex with a porn star. That's about the worst of it.
I mean,
but
he's
like
got
Bill,
his accusers too, but he hasn't settled out of court with any of his accusers.
yeah, and Bill's accusers are all way more credible than Trump's accusers. I mean, they not only were accusers, but like Hillary went to bat and basically told the women, like, if you ever mention this, I will destroy your life. You know, using all our resources. You know, which includes murder, because the Clintons have people murdered. That this is a documented thing.
Committed suicide with a point blank shotgun to the back of the head.
Yeah, or Vince Foster, hung himself. Wait, did he leave a suicide note? No. Oh, well, I guess it's suicide. Wait, what?
It's the second president ever to be impeached.
You're asking, well, don't we have a right to change the rules? Yes, but you don't have a right to change the facts.
Clinton says critics are now pouncing in light of the Me Too movement, but he stands by his decision to fight impeachment rather than resign.
So a lot of the facts have been conveniently omitted to make the story work. But I think partly because they're frustrated that they got all these serious allegations against the current occupant of the Oval Office, and his voters don't seem to care. I think I did the right thing. I defended the Constitution.
No, Bill, they threw you under the bus for this shit because the Democrats want to be seen as righteous with this. This is this is exactly why they have thrown him under the bus.
Yep, Bill Clinton's a straight white male, therefore he must be sacrificed to the gods above.
Have you noticed though? We haven't heard anything about Al Franken's resignation. He said he was going to resign. I don't think he's resigned.
Yeah, I think they asked him not to so they can have a chance at a Democrat majority, because they're trying real hard to get a majority here in the Senate. Though it looks like the wheels are coming off the wagon. Like the blue wave that hit initially, the Republicans finally woke up and says, wait, blue wave? Oh, okay, I guess we should fight this. Okay. So they're finally, like, now the Republicans are finally outnumbering the Democrats. So looks like the tide has been jammed.
Yeah. They've apparently lost a lot of their...
Yeah, so I don't know if I think Al Franken will probably resign if it looks like the Democrats have no hope of a Senate majority, because then it's like, well, it doesn't make it worse.
Because
but like,
I disagree. I think they're going to come back and ask him to stay so he can be another vote for the Democrats, because there's no guarantee, although it's highly likely, but there's no solid guarantee that another Democrat's going to come in and take his spot.
Well, he's Wisconsin, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If, didn't Wisconsin go Trump?
Yeah, but a lot of its interior is still blue. It has a very heavy Democrat machine.
Yeah, well, I guess at that point it would depend on whether or not they do an appointment or a special election.
Right, exactly, yeah. So I think Al Franken will probably consider resigning after the 2018 midterm election results, I think. Because if Democrats get, say, 50 without him and he makes it 51, they'll keep him on. But if it's like they lose seats or something like that, then yeah, they might kick him to the curb just because it's like, well, with getting rid of you, we'll get us brownie points. Like, we can virtue signal if you resign.
Well, I think the Democrats are actually getting to, or if they haven't gotten there already, they're getting to a point where they're trying to push Hillary out now too.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're a straight white male and in the Democrat Party, your head's going to be on a platter here pretty soon. We're already seeing this. Like, they're eating their own. Purity spiral is a nasty thing, and it's happening in real time. Was just a comic creator from Image Comics, and apparently, like, he'd done pretty good work, like getting like trans women and minorities, getting them published in anthologies and stuff. But he's a cis white male, so now he's being slammed as being a quote unquote tranny chaser because his girlfriend's trans woman. And apparently, like, he had a threesome with a couple trans women back in his anthology days, and so now he's being labeled. And he's made some. I mean, he's a male feminist, so he's like said stuff that's like, "Wow, dude, really?" Because he has no sense of class, because male feminist. But I mean, he hasn't like raped anybody or anything, but he's already being shoved out of the industry because, oh, clearly he objectifies trans women because he dates them too often, you know, because he's a cis white male, so clearly he is the enemy and must be expunged. Right? Yeah,
Wait a minute,
they're eating.
isn't this the kind of guy that Riley Dennis appreciates?
It's well, sort of. I mean, I don't know what Riley Dennis's position is because I mean the term tranny chaser is usually used for like guys who objectify it, but there's mixed feelings in the community regarding the term because like some people point us like wait, hold on, tranny chaser implies that there's something wrong with men who are attracted to trans women, but we've been arguing that trans women are women, so shouldn't a guy who's attracted to trans women just be the same as a guy attracted to women? No. Right? So there is confusion on the matter of whether it's a valid term or not. But regardless, it's being used against him. It looks like it's largely unsubstantiated. Like several of the people who've been ragging him are the same people who've been attacked by Comicsgate. So like this is their like pushback. Like we need to get rid of all the white males because white males are fragile and aren't really our allies. It's really, really bad. It's getting worse. You know, and since Hillary lost, Bill is going on the pyre. Like, it's going to take a little bit, but he's going to go on the pyre. Bill Clinton will burn at the hands of the Democrats here pretty soon.
I can only hope, because I find it thoroughly disgusting. Okay, are they blaming Monica? Not in this segment, I don't believe. Yeah, there are other things about power dynamics, which I think was totally... Man, it's really echoing. That was totally the thing with Clinton and Lewinsky. That was totally power dynamic. Stanley, I don't recall. Do you know anything about Stanley getting accused of assault?
Yeah, that ended up being unsubstantiated. I think it was basically just a nurse who... I think that got tossed because it ended up... It was like he was a 90-something... like he's in his 90s, and it was a very recent one, and it's like, yeah, he's 90, he's not doing anything. Like apparently, like the worst part was like he may have made a comment or two, and that was it. But in terms of doing anything physical, like there was like no way.
Okay. Yeah, and who does care? He likes guys that try to beat girls. Big deal, indeed. Let's go back to the video here.
Yeah, I mean, you're into what you're into. I'm not going to kink shame somebody. I mean, I'm not going to support him because, yeah, I mean, he's clearly the progressive male feminist type. He'd probably call me a Nazi because of my views, but at the same time, like, it's interesting. Left eat their own, which always happens.
All right, let's see the video.
You think this president's been given a pass with regards to the women who have come forward and accused him of sexual misconduct?
Well, I think that no. But it hadn't gotten anything like the coverage that you would expect.
President Trump has been accused by numerous women of inappropriate sexual behavior, all of which he denies.
I like the Me Too movement. It's way overdue. I think that it doesn't mean I agree with everything. I still have some questions about some of the decisions which have been made.
This March, Monica Lewinsky penned an op-ed in Vanity Fair taking responsibility for her part in the scandal, but also admitting that years later, she was diagnosed with PTSD from the unrelenting public scrutiny.
One of the... Oh, Jesus Christ. They'll get PTSD to anything these days.
Yeah, I mean, anxiety. Instead of PTSD, they should just call it anxiety. I think that's more accurate. And I can understand, like, Lewinsky getting anxiety, I understand that, because the left came at her really hard. Like they ruined her life for her role in that. I mean, she was targeted by some of the worst misogyny we've seen, and all of it was from the left. I mean, the left hate women, and she got the brunt of that. She found out the hard way.
Well, see, and a lot of it came from Hillary too, which was why when she was candidate, when she made that declaration that all assault survivors or whoever should be listened to and believed, and it just fell flat on its face.
Oh yeah. I think even some Democrat women were like, "What?" But I don't know. They're usually good little sycophants. Groupthink is strong with that.
It really is.
The things that this Me Too era has done, it's forced a lot of women to speak out. One of those women Monica Lewinsky. She wrote in an op-ed that the Me Too movement changed her view of sexual harassment. Quote, "He was my boss. He was the most powerful man on the planet. He was 27 years my senior with enough life experience to know better. He was at the time at the pinnacle of his career while I was in my first job out of college." Looking back on what happened,
looks so
through
uncomfortable.
the lens of Me Too now,
Oh, yeah.
do you think differently or feel?
I'm impressed by how they covered up his eyes, because his eyes are very sunken in if you've seen him without makeup.
Yeah.
And I came to grips with it.
Did you ever apologize to
and
him?
No, yes, and nobody.
Okay, see, like he's got that finger wagging thing going on now.
It's like, now see here, young man.
Yeah, you know, and it almost looks like he wants to call him the N-word too, but that's just the way I'm...
Well, I think of his foghorn leghorn.
I say, boy.
That I got out of that for free. I left the White House $16 million in debt.
Oh, Jesus.
No, he didn't. That's stupid. I mean, how many hundreds of millions did the Clinton Foundation bring in from the Saudis? And among others.
Clinton sounds like a whiny old lady. Monica sounded smarter than Bill's junk in her mouth.
Can we stop early on this? I don't know how much of this I can take, honest.
No, that's fine. We can stop it right now, man.
NBC doing a Bill Clinton wank is a bit much for me.
But this guy's not actually wanking him, though. He's actually confronting him on this shit.
I know. Even then, it's like, I mean, this thing went off when I was a kid, and it was just all over the place. And it was just like, it got old fast.
Yeah. How, if you don't mind me asking, about how old were you when?
I was in high school.
Oh wow. Yeah, I was. Gosh, man, I was well in high school, about 7, 8 years by that point. Oh goodness, yeah, it was a long time ago. Okay, so yeah, we can end it there, and anybody else interested, I will cover the Greg Abbott thing that came out last week. I'll just do the headline real quick. Texas Governor Abbott has a 40-point plan for improving school safety. If this is in reference to the Santa Fe school shootings that happened a couple of weeks ago, and it's a solid plan. It's not perfect, but I tell you what, it definitely, for me anyway, without knowing your politics on this, Tyro, hardening the schools for me sounds like a more plausible plan at this point than trying to collect 325 million guns. Did you leave? All right. Okay.
I'm back.
Okay, cool. All right, that's fine. Anyway, so one more time before we close this stream out, Tyro, go ahead and show your channel real quick.
Oh, okay. Yes, my YouTube channel is Tyro Inchoate. You can the last name is Inchoate. If you do a search for it on YouTube, it should pop up. Only has a few videos on it right now, but I am working on making more. You can see me. I'm trying to do more streams here and there. I do have a Twitter. It's currently locked down. I will probably be unlocking that in a couple months or so. I'm just waiting for some drama to die down first before I do that. But in the meantime, if you send me a follow request though on Twitter, I'll look over your account, and once I'm assured the person is not some weird doxer type, I'll let you in. So that's okay. I repost a lot of stuff. I try to follow a lot of political things. My channel itself, I try to take a more calmer, philosophical tone. On live streams and on my Twitter, I'm a little more like rawr. But my videos, I try to keep more of a level head.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and get his YouTube channel down in the description. I'm actually working on that as we speak. Okay.
And I do recommend anyone who wants. So we plugged his shirt there, but Ethan Van Sciver does a great art channel, and I do recommend people tune into it. He also has some very funny commentary on Star Wars.
Yeah, a lot of those guys also. world-class bullshitter, so I'm still not convinced Tyro is not. As well as...
Stop spreading that disinformation. You realize that they are going to like hunt me down. Like if I keep being accused of them, they're going to be like, we need to kill this guy. He's killing our brand.
Oh man, if nothing else, they probably would have you on as a novelty, I would guess.
That would be funny. I'm totally up for that. They want to have me on. I'll go on.
Okay, and guys, hopefully we'll get I'll probably go ahead and do the Governor Abbott thing as content on the live stream. But thanks anybody who comes across. Chagrin, thanks for being in the live chat the whole time.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chagrin, and possibly even Papa Bear.
Well, it says we have like 4 watchers, so I know. One. Okay, so that's 2. Chagrin's 3. So we have 1 person watching who's not in the chat.
Well, Malachi did pop up in the chat. So that was one other person. So I think Malachi comes in, watches, just tunes in, and then walks away. But it's kind of weird. Anyway, so thanks so much, guys, and catch you on the next Poo-Tang shit show.
Yep, so I'm now your 100th subscriber, by the way.
Really? No, you should be 101. I think I became your 42.
Oh, you're 42? Yes, 42 is my favorite number.
Yeah, I think I know why, too. Being a pop culture nerd.
Oh, yeah. Yes, yeah, it is exactly for the reason you think it is, yeah.
Okay, great. And we'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot, and thank you to Tyro for coming in and helping out with this stream. You'll have a good one.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Okay.